Okay, now Hendrix did a lot of licks combined with chords. Sometimes he'd do a lick instead of a chord, but the notes he was choosing in the lick would give you the sound of that chord. And I'm going to show you a little exercise, a really good way to work on that concept. Right here's the 5th fret. So I'm going to go back to this A minor bar chord. Okay, anytime you have this E-rooted minor chord, you know, whether you're playing it, they all can pretty much be substituted for each other. You always have that minor pentatonic underneath it. So the first trick, it's not really a trick, but the first technique to practice is definitely barring that, you know, where our thumb would be across, but barring this. And as you strum these middle strings here, hammer on some of the notes from the pentatonic. We're gonna go like this. I'm gonna actually bar across all of them because I'm gonna hammer on, whole step up on that A string, which actually looks like that C major Hendrix chord. The reason it's not now is because we're implying an A over the bass and not a C over the bass. Now Hendrix would be doing that with his thumb there. I am not. And I'm also, just in case you were wondering, I am not Jimi Hendrix. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We're just going to bar across the whole thing, get that bass note in there, and then hammer on that A string. So even when I'm hammering it on, I'm definitely getting that D string in there. But you could get all the... So that's the first one. The next one is hammering on that D string, you know, using these middle strings of the pentatonic underneath the chord. Now I'll do it on the next one. So I'm always kind of strumming the next string down with that hammer on. You can do the same hammer on the G string. But when you do that, that's kind of a suspended sound. It wants to resolve. It leaves that A minor chord suspended. It wants to be resolved. So it's always going to feel resolved when you go back to that or that. When you do that, see how it resolves when I finally go to that or that? Thumb in it. other thing that I just did there was a hammer on pull-off while I'm strumming that A minor chord. You can do it with the B string, but now it's the 8th fret, and you can do it with the high E string, it's the 8th fret. So let's take a progression like A minor, and then down to G major, and then down to F major, back up to G major, back up to A minor. See that? So watch real slowly on that A minor chord. And I'm just improvising, but I'm using those techniques I was just talking about. And I get as many in there as I can before I know I have to go to that G chord. And all I was doing was going to that other kind of more Hendrix major with the root on the E string thumb trick. And then for F, I was doing the same thing. Another thing I did for the G was this little major run here. That I showed earlier. For F, you could do the same thing. And so there is an art about mixing the licks with the chords. This time, I won't play the I'll start with the chords, and then I won't play chords at all. Just do the lick, the little single note ideas around it. Here we go. Here's just the chords: A minor to G major, down to F, back up. Now it's just the lick ideas. So that's a G note. See that? Just real quick, for the G major and the F major, I'm going to play the A-rooted Hendrix major inversion chord. So let me show you what that is real quick. The G major, the normal bar chord's here with the root on the 10th fret. We're going to play the inversion of it. So it's actually barring the 12th fret, hammering onto the 14th of the A string. And then F is a whole step down, same thing.